Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pedagogy in Practice. In this episode, I am going to be walking you through the benefits of using prerequisites and requisites in your Canvas modules. And not only will I talk to you about the benefits, but I'm also going to show you how to set them up. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay. In order to get started, I want to talk about the benefits of using prerequisites and requisites in your Canvas modules. And there's just really four main tips. One is that by using them, you can help guide your students through your modules. Additionally, by nesting certain content within the module and using the prerequisites and requisites, you can actually provide them with valuable resources based on whatever that unit of learning is within the module or the chapter or whatever the content is, the subject matter of that module. Additionally, by using prerequisites and requisites, you can actually require them to complete certain things within the module, and you can even do it to a degree of point value, if you so choose. And of course, by setting up your modules using prerequisites and requisites, you actually prepare your modules for more advanced features of Canvas, such as mastery paths. With that said, let's hop over to Canvas and start actually getting those set up within your modules. Okay. Now that we've hopped into Canvas, I want to show you what I have before you right here. It's basically just two simple modules built into one of my shells. I have a Week 7 module and a Week 8 module. Now, what I want to do is use prerequisites and requisites to establish, some settings for this Week 8 module. So what I'm going to do, and you'll notice that nothing in this module is published yet, so I'm trying to set this all up prior to my students having access, and I highly recommend that because you don't want to start changing the process through things, because inevitably what would end up happening is some students would progress faster than others before you've even finished setting up those things, and it could impact what ends up happening from the student perspective. So you don't want it to be detrimental to your students, and you probably also don't want to have to go back and fix those things because it could cause a mess if you don't set it up correctly. But I'm going to walk you through what needs to happen. So what I want to do is, the first thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that they complete Week 7 before they move on to Week 8. And in order to do that, I'm going to come to Week 8, and you'll notice that I have these three ellipses in the top right-hand corner. If I select those and click Edit, it's now going to pull up my Edit Module settings for Week 8. And I could come in here and I could retitle Week 8, but I'm happy, for the sake of this video, just leaving it as Week 8. I also have the option to actually lock the module until a specific time and date. So if I click that, I could come here and say, unlock this module on November 21st at, let's say, 7 a.m. And then I say done, and now this module will unlock to students on November 21st at 7 a.m. Now, even though it's going to unlock, I need to make sure that I publish everything, because if I don't publish it, even though it unlocks, it will still be unpublished to them. It's not like locking it and then when it automatically unlocks, that suddenly publishes everything. I need to make sure to have the content published even though I'm locking it. Does that make sense? Okay. With that said, let me go ahead and I'm going to uncheck that option for right now. And here's where we get to the meat of this video. You'll notice that I now have prerequisites and requirements. Now, the prerequisites option is only going to show up if I have other modules established in my modules. If I only have one module, I'm only going to see requirements. But when it comes to prerequisites, what I can do is I can actually select Add a Prerequisite, and you'll notice that it's allowing me to choose or select another module, which is why if you don't have modules, there's nothing to select, therefore it doesn't give you the option. So I'm going to select the Week 7 module. Now what I'm saying is that in order for my students to access Week 8, they must finish everything as I've required it in Week 7, okay? So right now I have the Week 7 module as a prerequisite for getting access to Week 8. Now let's go ahead and talk about adding requirements in the Week 8 module. I'm going to hit Add Requirement, and you'll see that I get several options. First, I can say students must complete all of these requirements. Then I can say students must move through the requirements in sequential order. Or I can say students must complete one of these requirements, or I could actually build out a list of requirements that I want them to complete, and then if I select students must complete all requirements, they'll have to, complete all the requirements that I built out here. Or I can say out of the options that I'm going to build out here, they must complete one. So for right now, one thing I know for sure is that I want my students to move through my module requirements in sequential order. So I'm going to say, boom, check that. They must move through everything that I put in this module in sequential order, and that's going to be based on the way that I have it set up in the module, top to bottom. Now what I can say is, let me go ahead and build out several different elements. So in this module, I had a week overview. I had a reading or a viewing, right? Some material that I definitely want to provide them resources to. And then I have an assignment at the bottom. So I definitely want to make sure they go through that. So I definitely want them to view the week overview. I could even come here and add another requirement. And instead of doing the week overview this time, I can actually say reading, viewing, and I can say they must view the item. Or from this dropdown, I can say they must mark it as done or contribute to the page. It's a reading and viewing, so I'm happy to just let them view the item. If I come down here and add another requirement, now I can actually add the assignment. Now, if the assignment is worth a certain amount of points, I can do several things, right? I can either say that it's marked as complete if they view the item. If I have them mark it as done, there's actually going to be something on the page that they actually have to click in order to mark it as done. I can also say as long as they submit the assignment, that will mark it as done within the requirements. Or I can say they must score at least, and since the assignment is worth 10 points, I could say they must score at least 17 out of those 20 or whatever you see fit in order to mark that as done. So the way we have the requirements established right now is I am saying students must complete all of these requirements and they must do them in sequential order, meaning they must read or view the item with the week 8 overview. They must view the item of the reading or viewing material, and they must score at least 17 out of 20 points on assignment for week 8. I can also come over here and say, okay, they must complete one of these requirements, and if I select that, then out of any of these things, as long as they meet one of these, that marks it as complete. That's not what I want to do, so I'm going to go back and select they must complete all of these requirements, and they must move through those requirements in sequential order. Once I have these settings established, I simply say Update Module, and you'll notice that the page itself gives me a little bit more info once I have that set up. Up at the top right, it tells me that the prerequisite for the week 8 module is week 7, and they must complete all items. Down at you'll see that the week 8 overview, I now have view right underneath it, so that's letting me know that they must view that material. The week 8 reading viewing is also view. And then, of course, the assignment on number 8 is they must score at least 17 points out of the 20 possible. Once I have it established to my level of comfort, and I have it established the way I want it, I simply publish that module content, and I'll say continue. And you'll notice that it even gave me a little warning saying, hey, the requirements here have changed. Do you want to relock it, or how do you want to proceed with this? Since I don't actually have students in the shell, I just went ahead and published it. And if I scroll up to the top, I can go ahead and publish week 7, because obviously they must finish week 7 before they get to week 8. And with that explanation, that covers everything about prerequisites and requisites. I hope you found this video helpful. Remember to subscribe, like, and comment on our channel and this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye.